What's up guys, Dell here. So, this is my garden after, it's about a week of, well, pretty much neglect. I went out of town, back home to Nashville, Tennessee for about a week to catch the eclipse. And, while I was gone, we had someone come by to, turn the water on for the sprinkler for the garden, but overall not really much was done to it. So the sprinkler was a little bit inadequate, and it typically is unless you run it for about an hour or so, which is why I typically don't use the sprinkler. But you can see that my garden absolutely it did pretty well, actually. It took off in a lot of places. My lemongrass has grown drastically over the last week, as has my taro. So those conditions actually did it pretty well. My rice, not as much because the little paddy dried out. So I added some more water to it just to give it back that moisture. But there's a few areas where the grains are starting to come in. So in another 2 weeks or so, we should start seeing those really popping up. My corn's doing pretty well. The big thing to note is within a week of neglect, my beans, my yard-long beans over here have absolutely flourished, and they are now flowering. So sometimes a good little drought is all right. Take a look at that. And I've also got quite a few watermelons now. I've got one right there. That one's popped up within the last week or so. There's another one there, another one there. So I've got quite a few in all. Here's one that I didn't even know was here. So let's bring that one out into the light a little bit, get it some sunlight. Now I did lose 2 cantaloupes, and those were the ones that were hanging on the nets. They got overripe, and our friend didn't realize that they were ripe and didn't pick them, so they were overripe and they rotted out. But that's okay, because they're going to go into compost, and the seeds will be recycled and used for later. Now, the one thing that did kind of suffer a little bit was my lemon cucumber. It did not like the drought, I guess you could say, because there wasn't a whole lot of rainfall. But I did get an absolutely massive harvest off of those. So I'm going to show you that in a moment. But let's take a peek under here, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So there's a whole bunch of lemon cucumbers. Some of those are still a little unripe, but they'll be ready within the next couple of days or so. And you see I got a new melon under there that I need to give some support. My potatoes are doing well. Peppers are doing absolutely fantastic after a week of just total neglect. So, well, and here is the massive harvest, or part of the massive harvest that I got out of it. And most of it is cucumbers, lemon cucumbers. I got a lot of beans out of that as well, and some corn. Although my corn is not really doing the greatest, but that's okay. It's my first time growing corn, so you live and learn. My sorghum is just about ready to harvest. So we'll be collecting that as soon as it turns brown, once it dries out. But you can see that's doing very, very well. So overall, a week of neglect actually did this garden pretty good. Now, am I suggesting neglect your garden for a week? No, because As you can see, the weeds have absolutely overgrown this whole place. So it's going to be a lot of work to get this thing back to where it was. So, this has been the weekly update, and thank you for watching, and be sure to stay tuned. My name is Del, and thanks a lot. Bye-bye.